Even though the Viking Age ended around a millennium ago, the culture of the Vikings continues to captivate our imagination and serve as the inspiration for everything from cartoons to fancy dress. It has become more challenging to distinguish fact from fiction when it comes to these northern Europeans because the maritime warriors have been subjected to extensive mythologizing over the years. With that in mind, here are 10 weirdest facts about the Vikings. Before starting, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. So let's start. Number 15. Vikings were never part of a unified group. Vikings failed to recognize their own kind. Since the name merely applied to all Scandinavians who participated in overseas excursions, it is likely that they didn't even call themselves Vikings. When the Vikings weren't busy inflicting devastation on distant beaches, the area that is now Denmark, Norway, and Sweden was a patchwork of chieftain-led tribes that frequently engaged in warfare. Number 14. Viking gentlemen preferred being blonde. Brown Vikings, typically men, would bleach their hair with a strong detergent with a high lye content to adhere to their culture's standards of beauty. Beards were also lighter in some areas. These remedies most likely also assisted Vikings with head lice, an issue that was far more challenging and prevalent than mousy manes. Number 13. Hygiene was abandoned for Christianity. In Norse culture, proper grooming practices were highly regarded before Scandinavia became Christian. Due to their customs of brushing their hair daily, taking weekly baths, and frequently changing their clothes, visitors have complained that the Scandinavians are too clean. As Christianity gained ground, these customs were denounced as vain and finally Vikings in the Middle Ages abandoned their hygienic practices. Number 12. Vikings beat Christopher Columbus to America. Although Christopher Columbus is credited with discovering the Americas, Leif Erikson, a Viking explorer, reached North America some 500 years before Columbus and gave it the name Vinland. The Erikson family had a history of exploration, whose last name can also be spelled Eriksson, 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 and Eriksson. After being driven from Iceland for murder, Leif Erikson's father, Eric the Red, established the first European settlement in Greenland. Number 11. Vikings skied for fun. Skiing has been a part of Scandinavian culture for more than 5,000 years, and Norsemen utilized it both for amusement and as a mode of transportation. Saxo Grammaticus, a historian from Denmark, claims that skis were even employed in Viking battle. Even the god of skiing Ullr is revered in Norse mythology. Both Ullr and the Norse goddess Skadi were referred to in ancient mythology as expert skiers and hunters. Number 10. Wedding swords and rings were exchanged. At weddings, the man would give his bride his family's sword, which she would keep and give to her future sons. The bride would then give the husband a sword from her ancestors, signifying an extension of the protection of the family. The exchange was authorized through magical ceremonies, after which the bride and groom would present each other with their new swords while perching their wedding rings on the hilts. Number 9. Viking men spent most of their time farming. It might come as a letdown, but the majority of Viking men carried scythes rather than swords. However, the vast majority of them quietly sowed barley, rye, and oats, at least for part of the year. It's true that some were heartless pirates who only stepped off their boats to burn settlements. On their modest farms, they also farmed sheep, pigs, goats, cattle, and usually just enough food to feed a family. Number 8. Alcohol was treated as a sacred beverage. Vikings had a drinking culture, according to both literature and archaeology. The legend of the Vikings describes drinking, producing beer, and Valkyries delivering refreshments to the dead soldiers in Valhalla. One of the most well-known Norse folktales is the one about Odin taking mead. In the actual world, drinking was a common component of events and get-togethers. During important occasions, the lady of the house would serve the warriors before they praised the gods and their ancestors and took holy oaths. It was thought that by doing this, men would be able to communicate with the gods and weave their own fortunes. Number 7. Viking women enjoyed some basic rights. Did you know that our days of the week are named after gods worshipped by Vikings? The great raven god Odin, otherwise known as Woden, gives us Wednesday. Meanwhile, Tuesday and Friday are named after Tyr and Frigg, the god and goddess of war and marriage, respectively. Finally, and possibly most famously, the Norse god of thunder and strength Thor gives us our Thursday. Someone needs to ask Marvel why they've not been releasing the Thor films on his day. Number 6. The days of the week are named after Viking gods. Did you know that the names of the days of the week come from Norse deities? We get Wednesday, also known as Woden's Day, from the mighty raven god Odin, also known as Woden. The deity and goddess of war and marriage, respectively, Tyr and Frigg, are the names of Tuesday and Friday. Thor, the Norse god of thunder and strength, provides us with our Thursday, making him perhaps the most famous of all. Marvel needs to be questioned as to why they haven't been releasing the Thor movies on his day. Number 5. Vikings buried their dead in boats. There is no denying that Vikings cherished their boats, and that being buried in one was a great honor. The Norse believed that after death, brave warriors visited joyous and wonderful regions, and that the vessels that had been useful to them during their lives would aid them in traveling there. Famous raiders and powerful ladies were frequently buried on ships, surrounded by weapons, priceless items, and even sacrificed captives. Number 4. Vikings used a unique liquid to start fires. Despite being clean freaks, the Vikings had no problem using one human waste product to their advantage. They would gather a touchwood fungus from tree bark, boil it in urine for many days, and then pound it into something resembling felt. Vikings were able to carry fire with them by allowing the material to smolder rather than burn thanks to the sodium nitrate included in urine. Number 3. Vikings were known for their excellent hygiene. Viking men must have smelled like high Valhalla between rowing boats and chopping off the heads of foes, right? The exact opposite. Tweezers, razors, combs, and ear cleaners constructed from animal bones and antlers have been discovered during Viking site excavations. In addition, more regularly than other Europeans of the time, Vikings had at least one bath every week, and they also liked to swim in natural hot springs. Number 2. Vikings loved cats. In Viking societies, cats were highly regarded and domesticated to live on farms. They served as a deterrent to pests and were regarded as essential household members. Even their pets accompanied the Vikings on lengthy journeys to nearby nations. Freya, the goddess of love, was associated with cats because it was thought that she rode a team of cats behind her wagon. Some people maintain the opinion that kittens were frequently given as wedding presents to the bride so she could start her new home. Number 1. Vikings didn't wear horned helmets. Almost all Viking warrior outfits you've ever seen should be forgotten. Yes, the brawny Norsemen undoubtedly wore headgear, but what is with the helmet's horn decorations? Viking-era artwork doesn't depict it, and the sole authentic Viking helmet ever found is defiantly horn-free. The style appears to have been invented by painters during the 19th century, probably as a result of ancient Greek and Roman chroniclers' accounts of northern Europeans. In fact, Norse and Germanic priests wore horned helmets for ceremonial purposes long before the arrival of the Vikings. This is it for today's video. What do you think of our video? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Thanks for watching.